Thursday night here in downtown Charleston, the Cougars had 8 different players that scored, including Canyon Berry with 21 points. But in the end, it was Hofstra with a 5-point victory over the Cougars, 71-66. Here tonight, Delaware in town, just 1-13 on the season. Their only win back on December 30th against St. Bonaventure. So here tonight, the Delaware Blue Hens and the College of Charleston Cougars from TV Arena here on MyTV. And with that, we welcome you down to the court alongside Hall of Fame head coach. There he is down there, John Kress, and Danny Johnson, former all-conference guard here at the College of Charleston. I'm Jeff McCarriger. Danny, we'll start with you. Both these teams obviously have struggled to start the season and both trying to get back in the win column here tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Both teams are in similar positions, 0-3 right now. They want to get in the win column. They don't want to fall too far down in the standings, so right now everybody's on deck. Coaching staff, starters, reserves, the water boy. Everybody has to contribute today to get that first win.
All right, Coach, let's get to our key players to watch here tonight, brought to you by Rick Hendrick BMW of Charleston. Visit their showroom on Savannah Highway or online, rickhendrickbmw.com. BMW, the ultimate driving experience. All right, Coach Kress, our key players here tonight.
For Delaware, we'll feature Kyle Anderson, the 6'3" senior from Newark, Illinois. He has the school record for threes made with 233 already. He's their leading scorer, 14.4 a game, 37 from behind the arc, and 75% from the foul stripe. Leading scorer and point maker for the Cougars, Canyon Berry, 11 points, 37 from threes, 74 from the foul line. And on Thursday night against Hofstra, he had a wonderful game with his 21 points, his 7 rebounds, and 3 threes. We see 2 drives, then we see him go on a one-man fast break and slam dunk at the end for a big basket for the Cougars.
And let's get to tonight's starting lineup. First for the Blue Hens of Delaware. Again, 1-13 on the season, 0-3 in CAA play. Corey Holden, Kyle Anderson, and Casman Hayes will be the guards. Maurice Jeffers and Marvin King Davis will get the start. Those will be the forwards. As we were just talking about, the leading scorer for this team is the senior Kyle Anderson, averaging 14.5 points per game. Meanwhile, for the College of Charleston, a change in the starting lineup. We'll talk more about this here in just a moment. Joe Cheeley, Canyon Berry, Donovan Gilmore, Ajay Baru, Cam Johnson. The freshman from Athens, Georgia, will make his first career start here at the college. And noticeably absent from that starting lineup, guys, is Anthony Stitt. We just got word before the game that he's had a minor knee injury. They're going to sit him out about 2 to 4 weeks. And Coach Kress, obviously, you hate to lose your senior captain, but the good news is, again, it's nothing serious. He should be back in 2 to 4 weeks. Still should have plenty of time in February, and of course going into March for the conference tournament.
And now it's next man up, and Cameron Johnson has played very, very well off the bench. The freshman from Athens, Georgia, plays both ends, will get the start. And also now Pat Brannon probably figures into the rotation in the backcourt with substitutions.
Danny, you've been a part of many teams here at the College of Charleston, and when one of your starters gets injured, like Coach just said, next man up. What a great opportunity here for the freshman, Cam Johnson.
And that's exactly what it is. He's played well all year, but now he's going to get a few more opportunities, a few more shots, a few more plays. This is an opportunity for him to just go forward, get more time in the lineup as the season progresses.
Just about set. Delaware and the College of Charleston as we are underway here from TV Arena, downtown Charleston, South Carolina, along with the coach, John Kress, and Danny Johnson, former all-conference guard. I'm Jeff McCarriger. Our officials, Jeff Nichols, Keith Fogelman, and Matt Dorn here tonight.
Delaware starts in shirt-to-shirt, man-to-man defense. Cougars moving the ball from side to side, looking into Baru.
As they often do early in the game. Baru, shot with the right hand, falls in.
I like that philosophy, Danny. You got to keep the big guys happy. Baru shoots 50% or better from the floor. Get it into him early.
Opens up everything else. The bigs start well on the block. It opens it up for the perimeter.
Charleston also playing man-to-man. They're very stingy on defense. One of the better defensive teams in the CAA.
Strong move by Casman Hayes, sophomore guard out of Charlotte. So early buckets here for both teams, and both these teams trying to get back in the win column again for the Cougars, trying to snap this 7-game losing streak. And for Delaware, 1-13 to start the season after, guys, they lost pretty much everybody off their starters last year.
Such a good team last year. They were right there competing for that tournament spot. So to see them drop off, obviously, the talent left them, graduated away.
They have 11 freshmen sophomores who play quite often. There's a nice basket by Joe Cheeley on the little fade jump shot from 14 feet.
Danny, you mentioned Delaware's run last year, 25 wins. They were 14-2 in conference play. It was the second most wins in school history last year as they won the CAA championship and, of course, went to the first round where they lost to Michigan State.
They had some great players, Devon Sadler, Dave and Usher, Paul Baptiste, and Jarvis Treat, who was the MVP in Baltimore in the CAA tournament.
Early lead here for the College of Charleston. There's Monte Ross there in the middle, head coach for Delaware. 9th season as head coach for the Blue Hens. He was the 2013-14 CAA Coach of the Year, and why not? Again, 25 wins last year. There's Baru again. This time over his right shoulder. Fade away. Won't go.
Good shots, though. I like Baru maneuvering inside, knows the geography of the paint. The senior can definitely score the ball.
We're trying to get it inside, and now they'll pull it out and reset. Casman Hayes. Confusion on the Delaware offense. Marvin King Davis misses on the jumper. Here come the Cougars. Joe Cheeley has it knocked away, out of bounds. Actually, a foul call by the official here on the near side, though. First foul against the Blue Hens.
And this is a great start for Charleston. Coach Grant has to be thrilled that offensively they're hitting on all cylinders. That's the thing that's plagued them all season. So with Cedar going through the basket early, it's got to do well for their confidence, Coach.
And Cheeley has hit a jump shot going to the basket via the dribble. There he gets fouled going to the hoop. I like this strategy. Baru and also Cheeley off the dribble. UNC Wilmington had a tough game where they beat Delaware on Thursday night in overtime. Delaware actually had a 6-point lead with 42 seconds, but had 3 turnovers in the last minute of that game to force overtime and lose a toughie. So they're capable, Jeff, and they'll come in here with some confidence after Thursday night.
5-2 lead here for Charleston, just underway from TD Arena. Yeah, the final score the other night, 74-73 in overtime. Talk about tough overtime losses. Remember last year with the College of Charleston? A double overtime loss against Wilmington. Neither team scored in the first overtime. Shot missed, and Baru with the rebound. Have you ever seen that before, Coach?
No, I
haven't. Scoreless overtime?
No, I haven't.
That was one of the craziest games I've ever seen.
We were searching for some positives over there to tell the TV world, but there were very few in that overtime.
What did we talk about for 5 minutes? I don't even know. I don't know how we got through that first overtime. Danny, were you doing radio with Everett?
No, I was doing.
Oh, that's right. You were doing the TV with us. That's
yeah,
right.
we just.
There's Earl Grant. He was not there for that game, and I'm sure he's happy he wasn't. Earl in his first season as head coach for the College of Charleston. That's right. Everett Germer was doing the radio broadcast for the college by himself that night. That's right. You were doing TV with us because Nate was on. Three-pointer hit by Casman Hayes, the sophomore. Tie game at 5.
Great ball reversal by the Hens to find Casman Hayes for the jumper. Good basket for Delaware. Good ball movement.
Drew with the kick out. Canyon Berry, that's his spot. Hits another 3. He hit 2 from that exact same spot the other night.
Great inside-out play by Baru. He's looking like a man possessed tonight. He's coming out, making all the plays. He's aggressive. He's looking. If he continues to play like this, it's going to bear well for the Cougars.
His vision on the baseline to find Barry was just tremendous.
Kyle Anderson answers for Delaware.
That's just where good offense beats good defense. Hand up, fading away. If he makes that shot, you live with it, get back on the other end.
Now, he's a great outside shooter, Danny. You have to stay attached to him and try to have to force a tough shot because, again, he's the all-time school leader in threes. That is now his 234 3 from behind the arc.
Strong move underneath by Donovan Gilmore, freshman for the College of Charleston. 10-8 lead now for the Cougars.
And in the first 5 minutes, I think I've seen the Cougars go inside more than I've seen them all year to start the game. And I think they're going to do that on purpose. They're looking to start inside out.
Holden nowhere to go, has to give it up. Good defense right now by Charleston. You can tell they've got Delaware a little confused, but able to sneak behind. Into the layup is Marvin King Davis, and he's a wide body, 6'7", about 230, 235, a big kid.
Donovan Gilmore made a mistake, got himself out of position right there, and the big guy's going to put that body and finish around the rim.
King Davis was a big factor in their great 25-win season last year. He's got the big body. He can also go out from 15 feet. On Thursday against Wilmington, he had 15 points and 7 rebounds. Came off the bench on that occasion.
Peru in the lane, elevates, can't get the bounce, but gets the offensive rebound. College of Charleston the other night in that loss to Hofstra, I know Coach Grant was pretty happy because they had 13 offensive rebounds in that game.
Yeah, those are just extra possessions you don't want to give up in a game. More shots at the basket means more points.
Out of bounds, it will be Delaware basketball when we come back. 14-16 left to play. Just underway here in downtown Charleston, a tie game. Thanks to this three. Canyon Berry, he had 21 points the other night. Three-pointer here, and again a tie game of 10.
Everyone in attendance receive a buy one, get one free combo meal. This offer is only good for combo meals of equal value. Again, if the Cougars score 31 or more points during the first half tonight, get your tickets done by the end of business tomorrow. Pick either Racing Cane's location in Mount Pleasant or Charleston and receive a buy one, get one free combo meal. Only from Racing Cane's. 930 Dumbo is the most upscale student community in Charleston. Enjoy relaxing by your luxury pool, 2 elevated courtyards, a cyber cafe, and much more. Stop by 87 Wentworth to sign up. August 2015. At this time, we'd like to wish Max a big happy birthday. Thanks for joining us in tonight's game, Max.
Quite 6 minutes in here in the first half, downtown Charleston, the Blue Hens and the Cougars tied at 10. All right, Coach Kress, what are some of your keys to the game here this afternoon?
Well, for Delaware, they must play some D. They give opponents 74.7 points a game, which is a bunch of points. Win close games. We referenced their game at Wilmington Thursday night, up 6 points with 42 seconds left. You just can't afford to lose that type of game. For Charleston, plenty of heart. Lost 7 in a row, but as Earl Grant said, it's a marathon. But tonight, a win would be a shot of confidence and score the ball. They average only 58, but in the second half on Thursday night against Hofstra, they went for 42. So maybe that's a sign of good things to come. So far in this game, I like their strategy inside, outside.
Both teams off to pretty good shooting starts, 4 for 6. Jumper from the corner, no good. And tipped out of bounds. It will be Charleston basketball. Well, Danny, you've had a chance to watch this Cougar basketball team all year. And Earl Grant, the head coach, really challenged him after that loss at William & Mary. He really wanted to see more heart and determination and passion and energy on the court. I think they've responded the last couple of games.
Yeah, I think so. They play shirt-to-shirt defense. They're giving it everything they got. Their problems have really been on the offensive end. And that's something you can't control all the time. But if they continue to play hard, they'll start to have some success.
Canyon Berry again with a big game the other night, 21 points, has this one blocked, and here come the Blue Hens on the run out. Anderson, little runner in the lane. And Gilmore with the rebound.
Jeffers had a great shot block, and he kept the ball in play after the block.
What a rebound. Block, though, underneath. Great rebound, but even better block by Marvin King Davis.
Gilchrist snatched that above the rim, Danny. His vertical was out of sight.
He makes 2 or 3 plays every game. You just go, wow, he really, really can get off the floor.
Here's King Davis after the block. Can't hit the jumper here, and Canyon Berry with the rebound. Canyon's done a good job on the glass. Second on the team in rebounding this year.
Charleston's doing a good job of limiting him to 1 shot.
Root with a jumper. That one won't go. Both teams now all of a sudden cooled off a bit after going 4 for 6 to open up the game.
team's not turning it over, though. They are getting good shots in this game so far. It's been some clean play on offense.
That one's no good. And Canyon-Berry another rebound. Again, Berry on the drive. Lays it in high off the glass as the Cougars retake the lead.
The body control was fantastic at the end of that drive by Barry. He's 6'6", and he knows how to maneuver, and he's a great finisher around the rim.
Boy, Coach Grant has got to be pleased with the aggressiveness towards the basket tonight. And a foul inside. I mean, Danny, we noticed it right away. The Cougars were going inside. You mentioned what a good job Baru did to start, but really the guy's doing a good job of attacking the basket.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're struggling offensively, you want to get as close to the rim as you can. You don't want to get caught up taking too many perimeter shots. I think Coach Grant has told his team, just get to the rim, make the referees call some fouls, get to the free throw line, little things to get yourself going.
Yeah, getting to the free throw line has been something the guys have definitely been trying to improve on.
And getting close to the rim, we just showed on the replay Barry really getting to the rim on that maneuverability on his last drive.
Good ball movement here by Delaware as Anthony Mosley's checked in for the first time, a sophomore. Three-pointer from the top by Chavarsky Corbett, also into the game for the first time here tonight for Delaware. No good, and it will be Charleston basketball when we come back. 11:55 to play first half. Charleston with a 2-point lead over the Blue Hens.
Find the Cougar. Be sure to tweet us your seat location during tonight's game for a chance to win prizes. Tweet at Find the Cougar. And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome your cheerleaders and Cougarettes to the court.
College of Charleston at home here tonight from TD Arena, downtown Charleston, taking on Delaware, an early 2-point lead. Don't forget to join us after home games this season. You can meet Coach Grant and the men's basketball team at the Kickin' Chicken right across the street from TD Arena, downtown Charleston on King Street. It's a post-game on the patio event at the Kickin' Chicken on King Street. Now, the last couple of days, I'm not sure if they really want to be on the patio. We've had to move that inside to warmer temperatures.
This is not typical Charleston weather. When it hits in the 20s, no one has a fur coat to put on around here.
Yeah.
In New York, I had a few.
Very difficult to get Mr. Johnson out this weather, I'll tell you that.
Talking about Mr. Johnson, I coached for 38 years, and the guy sitting next to me, Danny Johnson, was one of the best performers I ever coached. He was a swing player, played mostly guard, could play some small forward, a clutch performer, and a guy who, when we went to Charlotte to play North Carolina, I remember, I believe they were number 3 in the country, undefeated, and Danny Johnson tipped one in, Jeff, with 0.3 seconds to go to a win over the Tar Heels. Danny Johnson, a great competitor and one of my best friends.
Yeah, I like you, Coach. I had to make you look good.
Cam Johnson for 3, no good. And a whistle underneath and a foul on the Cougars.
That's a foul you live with, though. With aggressiveness, Charleston's getting on the offensive glass. Some fouls are good fouls. That one stops the play. They get back on defense. You live with that as a coaching staff.
It's funny, that story about the tip-in, I've only had Danny tell me that story maybe 10 times.
You know.
10, 11, 12 times maybe.
Not one to toot my horn or anything.
Unfortunately, he didn't start in the next game.
Now both teams, we talked about how they had gotten off to good starts after that first media timeout. They were combined 8 for their first 12. But now all of a sudden both teams have combined to go 1 for their last 11. Make it 1 for their last 12 as Glenn Pierre into the game gets the rebound. So things were moving along pretty good for the offense. Another foul up top. This against Anthony Mosley as Joe Cheeley draws another foul.
The player to watch today is Glenn Pierre. He came in the other night against Hofstra and he provided good minutes. With Anthony Stitt being out and rotating guys, he has to come in and be productive again.
At 6'11" and his length, he has to be a rim protector. There has to be resistance when people drive to the basket, and he's got that ability to block shots, change shots, and he's coming on. I think his future is still ahead of him.
Cam Johnson, the freshman, again making his first start. Way too strong on the jumper. Anderson for 3, knocks it in. Kyle Anderson, he hit 85 three-pointers last year for Delaware.
And Charleston has to recognize he's going to put it up from anywhere on the floor, so anywhere past half court, you need to find him in transition.
Joe Cheeley was a little late in getting out. I know when you run back, you can't run back to the rim or the basket. You have to run back and find him very, very quickly.
Evan Bailey into the game for the first time, number 11 for the Cougars. He's another freshman at Canton, Ohio. We got a lot of young players on both sides. Cheeley lost it off his knee, out of bounds.
Again, Charleston's making that conscious effort to get to the rim, try to force the action a little bit. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it don't, but if you stick with the game plan more times than not, the percentages will work in your favor.
Delaware with a 1-point lead, under 10 minutes to play here in the first half. Both these teams looking for the first conference win of the year. Barnett Harris, a sophomore, 6'9" up top, and he gets fouled by Terrence O'Donoghue. It's been something that has plagued Terrence all season long, has been foul trouble.
And I understand Coach Grant's philosophy on defense is to pressure the ball, but big guys that far on the floor, you don't want to pick up those cheap fouls out there because they always come back to haunt you later in the game.
A couple of substitutions now as Donovan Gilmore will come back in for Terrence.
Yeah, both teams with some needless fouls in these last few minutes.
And a lot of that happens out of frustration with them going on a scoring drought. That's what happens. You get a little frustrated, you try to look for things, and you get some of those cheap fouls.
Other than Kyle Anderson's 3 a couple of minutes ago, both teams now combined 2 for their last 14 over the last 3 minutes. Delaware just keeping it up top with 15 seconds on the shot clock. Holden looking for some space. Into the lane, off the glass, draws the foul.
He is a very quick freshman point guard. Here he drives, he's very low to the ground, he crosses over, he gets by Cheeley and draws the foul. Against Wilmington on Thursday night, he had 25 points, went to the foul line 16 times, made 15 of those 16 attempts. There was a player way back then named Tiny Archibald, who was a great NBA player, led the NBA in scoring, and this guy, Corey Holden, reminds me a little about him. He's very nifty. Right,
and they can finish around the rim. Tiny Archibald was one of the best small guards about finishing around the rim. I remember that about him.
After the foul shot's made, we'll see full court pressure by the Delaware Hens.
Now, this is something Charleston might see all year, as teams know that we're not a great shooting team, so put pressure on them, ask them to move the ball a little bit, try to get them out of rhythm. So Charleston has to be prepared to deal with this, not just in this game, but the whole season.
We'll see how the Cougars respond here. Evan Bailey. Canyon Berry right now trying to bring it up court. Cam to bail him out. Lobs it up top, and Donovan Gilmore able to just get enough of his hands on it to tap it in. Meanwhile, on the other end of the court, Barnett Harris. The tall sophomore we were just talking about is down.
Harris was pressing, and he went down early in that full court pressure. Didn't quite see how it happened. Here he's guarding Barry, and I think Barry, after the pass, his hand extended into the face of Harris. Not intentional at all, but a bailout by Cameron Johnson to find an opening, because it was almost a 10-second violation. Cougars were a little late in getting the ball up court.
Yeah, you're right, Coach. You could see that left arm when it extended, completely inadvertent by Canyon, but when it extended, just came right across the nose.
I'm sure Charleston's going to make the adjustment. I'm not sure if you want to have Canyon Barry and Evan Bailey in the backcourt handling the ball, bringing up the floor in that situation. They're better out on the wing, being able to see it. I'm sure Coach Grant's staff's going to make an adjustment and not have those two guys in the backcourt.
Our problem is with Anthony Stitt out, Danny, for a couple of weeks, Barry has to probably assume more of a role. Right now, Cheely is on the bench, so it has to be Barry or Johnson handling the ball a little more in the backcourt.
Here it is. Watch right here. Oh,
yeah.
Got him right in the across the face.
Cam with a nice lob to Donovan Gilmore.
For those just tuning in, you hear us talking about Anthony Stitt not in the lineup tonight. Again, he is expected to miss 2 to 4 weeks with a minor knee injury. Again, from what we've been told, it's nothing serious, which is obviously great news. There he is sitting on the bench right now. They're just going to hold him out here for the next 2 to 4 weeks. And more good news right now is Barnett Harris being helped off the court for Delaware. But so Stitt will be out for the next 2 to 4 weeks, which, you know, I guess if you've got to miss time, it's good that it happened now because the Cougars will still have him for at least a stretch run in February going into March.
You got to feel for the kid. You know, when you get hurt, you don't have control of it. But as a senior, it really hurts because you know this is your last year to put a great year together. So it's a gap in him. But you're right. It's better to have him at the end of the year, you know, have him then instead of the middle of the year.
Especially to be able to have that senior leadership come tournament time.
That's right.
I think it's a key game for both teams, but the Cougars, you know, 0-3 also. Going on the road for 5 out of the 6, I think this is almost a must-win.
There's Corbett up top. Jaworski Corbett, 6'7". He's a freshman. 1 point lead for Delaware. 8:39 to play here in the first half. Offense was going wild in the first 4 minutes of this game, but it slowed down as Holden able to score for Delaware to take a 3-point lead.
Just what we talked about, a quick guard, good around the rim. They have to keep him out of the paint. I think that's where he wants to get. Force him to take perimeter shots with a hand in his face.
Both teams 4 for their last 16 combined until that last shot by Holden. Cam Johnson answers on the other end for CFC.
Cam Johnson is such a great athlete. He was an SEC quarterback prospect. His mom and dad both played sports. His mom played at Missouri basketball. His father, Missouri football, NFL. He's got to use his athleticism to not only shoot or defend, but also drive it to the basket.
Yeah, sometimes I think he's got caught as just being a jump shooter, but he is a great athlete. He needs to use that, not just on defense, but on the offensive end as well.
Lob underneath, nice catch. Battle underneath as Gilmore tries to rip it away. Tied up, jump ball. Possession arrow will keep it with Delaware. That'll bring us to a media timeout with 7:39 left to play here in the first half. Cam Johnson up top to Donovan Gilmore with the tip. Cougars down by 1.
And hold them high in the air. We're looking for 5 winners to be selected for today's round to take home a $10 gift card. Come on, let's see if we can find some winners. We're looking for those winners. All right, it looks like we have our winners now. Make some noise for a free Beat Delaware t-shirt, courtesy of Kick and Chicken. Oh yeah, everybody can make some noise for that.
Back inside TD Arena, downtown Charleston, a 1-point lead for Delaware. The officials, guys, are taking a look at a play right now to see how much time should be left on the shot clock. saw a replay during the break of that last shot. I think it was by King Davis, and they were trying to figure out whether or not it hit the rim. It did not look in the replay that we saw like it hit the rim, which means after the tie-up, there should only be about 2 or 3 seconds left. But apparently maybe they did say it touched the rim, because right now there's 35 seconds of the shot clock.
They're going to say it hit the rim. There was some tin that was hit, so they will get the full 35 seconds. You know, I think the guards for Delaware are very good, and so far 4 points for Holden and 6 points for Anderson. And then I think the defense by the guards for Charleston will be very important in this particular ball game.
Must have just kissed off the iron on that left side. So again, a fresh shot clock for Delaware with a 1-point lead. Here from TD Arena in downtown Charleston. Thanks for watching tonight. Alongside Hall of Fame head coach John Kress and Danny Johnson, former all-conference guard here at the college. I'm Jeff McCarrigan. Three-pointer by Corbett, no good. Baru able to tip it and grabs the rebound.
Baru did a great job in boxing out and securing that rebound. He was 1 for 4 early, but he had great shots when they went inside.
Starting 5 back on the floor for the College of Charleston as Baru spins and jams it in with 2 hands.
Charleston took advantage of that dead time, came back on the other end and ran a play on the baseline for easy dunk for Baru on the baseline.
I've seen that play before.
I have too.
Earl Grant got that from Greg Marshall, and guess who Greg Marshall got that from? It was called Jacksonville back in the day.
That's right.
Lou Carnesecca?
Oh, Lou Carnesecca.
Yes,
okay, I'm sorry, Louie. Okay, it started with you.
Donovan Gilmore with the rebound. Gilmore wide open from the free throw line, and the Cougars take a 3-point lead.
And if that's a shot that Donovan Gilmore can make consistently, it's just only going to open things up for him under the basket.
You know, talking about Greg Marshall, who worked at the college for 8 years as an assistant coach, did a great job at Wichita State last year. 35-1, National Coach of the Year. I'm so proud of him, Danny.
Doing a great job. Great job.
He recruited you, in fact.
That's right.
Underneath, King Davis lost it going up, and a foul on Charleston.
Yeah, Danny was at Clemson. He was looking around for another school, Jeff. And I said, Greg, we've got to get that guy. ACC player, and he was doing very well as a sophomore, and he came our way. Nice play inside, great screen across. Gilmore got Baru open, and he finished it with a slam.
A 6-0 run by the College of Charleston. The slam by Baru, the jumper by Donovan Gilmore, and a 3-point lead right now for the Cougars.
Gilmore's stat line for a freshman, he only averages 18.7 minutes a game, but he gets 7 points, shoots 58% from the floor, 75% from the foul line, and in those 18 minutes he gets 5 rebounds. So the future is bright with Cameron Johnson and also Donovan Gilmore.
And I have a funny suspicion, Coach, those minutes are probably going to go up as the season progresses.
I agree. There's a great transition from high school to college basketball. It's much more physical. There's much more information that you have to acquire through scouting reports, and Gilmore and Johnson are doing that so far.
Baru trying to sneak a pass on the baseline to Terrence O'Donohue. Had him open, but just skipped a little bit past him. In behind him, Terrence couldn't make the catch. So Delaware with the basketball now down by 3.
I like this full court pressure by the Cougars. Sometimes defense can lead to offense. Make Delaware rush a little more, possible traps, and they go back to man, so they consume some time off the clock with that press.
King Davis, jumper this time, no good. And Baru just grabs it at its highest point, keeps it up top so no one else can grab it.
He didn't even jump. He just stood, but he's 7 feet. He's got a 7'5" wingspan, so he can do that sort of thing.
Daniel Berry has a rattle out. Coming up on 5 minutes left here in the first half. Here's Holden, Corey Holden, a freshman running the points for Delaware. Kicks it out to Casman Hayes, who ties the game.
But Holden can develop shots for himself or teammates. He's very clever. He didn't use the ball screen. He went the other way and found Hayes in the corner. Great play for a freshman.
We'll go back to Baru. This time a quick little jumper. Terrence O'Donohue with the offensive rebound.
Charleston really scrapping for every ball today. Everything that hits the rim, you see 3, 4 guys flying around the ball.
Shealy draws another foul. Foul's going to go against Corey Holden. It'll be his first.
Shealy's drawing 3 or 4 fouls so far. Of the 5 team fouls for Delaware, Shealy has been responsible for getting fouled and hacked, and that's helping the Cougars.
So far, there hasn't been a ton of fouls so far in this game. You know, usually by this point, you're in the penalty, but both teams have played well without fouling.
Yeah, I just noticed that too, Vanny. Only 5 whistled against CFC and now 4 against Delaware.
And very few turnovers. It's been a clean game, but shooting has been a problem for both teams.
Yeah, you're right, Coach. For Delaware, they've only turned it over 1 time.
That's right.
Cougars have turned it over just 4 times. Pat Brandon into the game for the first time. Coach Kress, you mentioned that you thought Brandon would probably get some playing time as Joe Shealy drives and scores.
Great drive by Shealy. Always keeps his head up. He has great vision for himself and for his team. It's just Pat Brandon's a senior from the Stewart School in Virginia. Played with Peru in high school, and he's really paid his dues. He's been a great practice player, but he's ready for some minutes, and he's a great outside shooter.
Foul underneath. Glenn Pierre back into the game. He was really banging with Eric Carter. 6'11 against 6'9, so Glenn will be charged with a foul, and he's going to get a little talking to from his head coach, Earl Grant, as we've got our final media timeout here of the half. 3:36 left to play in the first half. A tight one tonight. Charleston by 2. Well, the Delaware Blue Hens just 1-13 on the season, 0-3 in conference play, down by 2 here on the road against Charleston. And Coach Kress, the Blue Hens using the 3-pointer here tonight to try and stay in this one.
Yeah, 4 for 10 from threes. There's Casman Hayes, 12 of their 22 points from behind the arc. Here's Kyle Anderson off the dribble at the top. On the wing, gotta find him early. A nice penetration by Holden to Casman Hayes for another 3. Charleston has to start taking that away, as there are very few points around the basket for the Hens, but on the outside, they're hot.
Delaware with 7 field goals made in the game, 4 from 3-point range.
And that's what's keeping them in it. If you look at the field goal percentages, it said they shouldn't be in it. They're shooting 36% of the field, while Charleston's shooting over 50, but the long ball is the one thing that can give you the trump card, and that's what they're running with today.
Anderson to inbound for Delaware as we are back to work on the court. And 3.5 minutes left to play here in the first half. Final game here in this 4-game stretch for the College of Charleston. 4 games in 8 days. Little chip shot underneath by Kyle Anderson ties the game up.
Boy, Kyle Anderson went into his bag of tricks. He drove the baseline, stopped on the dime, spun, and made a good layup. They were thinking take away the 3, then he drives him. Typical senior play, very smart.
Joe Shealy doing his best Aaron Rodgers impersonation, trying to thread the needle in through a double team and knocked out of bounds. It'll be Delaware basketball.
Kyle Anderson driving against Peru, fakes Peru and also Pat Brannon, and spins and kisses it off the glass. Very nice maneuver by Kyle Anderson.
Maybe I should have said best Tony Romo impersonation. Knocked away. Almost intercepted.
I like that. I like that. I'm not a Cowboys guy.
Oh, Anderson again for 3 for Delaware as the Blue Hens retake the lead.
He's the one guy you cannot sink off of. At some point, you know, you might be playing help side defense, but if you know he's a knockdown shooter, you got to shade to his side and not let him catch it.
Yeah, he has picture-perfect form, Danny. His form, his concentration, and his confidence make him a great, great shooter. He's 13th now all-time Division I active players with 3s made, so got to guard him on the perimeter. Anderson now with 11 points.
This game has gone back and forth. No team has led by more than 3 yet. Holden on the baseline. They skip it around in the corner. Now back to Anderson.
They're sharing the ball beautiful. It's more about giving than receiving for the Hens.
Tip back won't go. Another opportunity good as Hayes gives the Blue Hens a 5-point lead. And Coach Kress, how many times have we talked about this so far this season? These final 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes for the college have been critical. Delaware on a 7-0 run now.
James Madison came back at the end of the first half. The Ostros were also very good at the end of the first half. It's critical for momentum into the halftime locker room. Still plenty of time for the Cougars to respond.
Shot clock down to 8. Joe Thiele rattles it in. Makes it 27-25 Delaware. 90 seconds left to play here in the half. Holden from the corner, floats it in. What a shot by the freshman.
Cameron Johnson was right in his face, was playing shirt to shirt, but Corey Holden, the lefty, went to his right and just got it off. Gives the Hens a, believe a 3-point lead, Jeff? I thought it was more than that.
I think it should be a 4-point lead. I think it should be 29. There they fixed it, 29-25. And a foul against the Cougars on Baru underneath. Offensive foul. Take a look at this one again.
Baru gets it inside against Carter. He's going to dribble, he's going to power, but Carter was there with the chest. He kind of invaded the space of the defender. Little theatrics also, Jeff. Not an Academy Award, but could have been pretty close.
4-point lead for Delaware. Under a minute left here in the first half. Cougars had a 22-20 lead.
Delaware playing very much with confidence for a team with 11 freshmen and sophomores, Jeff. They've not turned it over. They've gotten good 3-point looks. They've played really good defense. They've been very, very composed so far. With that record of 1-13, it's a great effort so far by Coach Monte Ross and his Hens, playing a real efficient game of hoops.
Well, and you're right, Coach, just 1 turnover still for Delaware here in the first half.
And making threes and playing some pretty stingy defense, rebounding the ball well. They've got a lot of energy and enthusiasm coming in here after that tough loss at Wilmington Thursday night.
What's amazing, isn't it, Coach, how quickly things can change in a basketball game? I mean, it seems like just a minute ago, College of Charleston was up 22-20. Now, all of a sudden, Delaware, who, again, has only thrown the ball over once in the first half, they're on a 9-3 run. And for the Cougars, they have 3 turnovers in their last 2 minutes and 44 seconds. I mean, just like that, it can turn.
Well, 3 balls can really hurt you. They put points on the board quickly. Anderson hit 1, and also Corey Holden hit 1. So 6 points within the matter of 2 possessions have really hurt the Cougars.
19 on the shot clock, 40 on the game clock as Anderson will inbound to the baseline. Having trouble, has to throw it all the way into the backcourt. As the freshman Holden will bring it back up across the timeline. Shot clock down to 10. Holden with 6. Into the lane, kicks it out, open jumper. No good, offensive rebound by Delaware. Now they can hold for the final shot.
That's going to really hurt. Cougars try to get a stop and a bucket on the other end. Might not get a shot now at the other end, but still need a stop. They want to be just down 4 at half.
Holden on the drive, kicks it up top. Casman Hayes. No good. Pinkard with the rebound, lost it. And that will end the first half. So Delaware closes on a 9-3 run to take a 4-point lead. Here at halftime, 29-25 for Delaware. A couple players in double figures. Anderson, who had 3 3-pointers, he had 11. Casman Hayes, who missed that shot there as time was expiring, finishes with 10 in the first half for the College of Charleston. Joe Cheeley, the high scorer, with 8. All right, a 29-25 lead for Delaware. Let's go down to the court where Danny Johnson standing by with the head coach of Delaware, Monte Ross.
How you doing, Coach Ross?
Good.
Despite shooting poor percentages today, you got some timely shots from Anderson tonight. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think, he's a senior, so he has to lead us, and anytime we can get some jump shots to go in, it just opens up everything else for everybody else.
Overall, what do you feel like your team needs to do to not only maintain this lead, but keep it going in the second half?
Well, I think defensively we have to be much sharper. We let them get us on a couple screeners, and Baru got a couple of easy layups. And then we got to give up, I think we gave up too many offensive rebounds. So if we can contain Baru a little bit and hold them to one shot and one shot only, I think we'll be better off.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Back to you, Jeff.
All right, Danny, thank you. And Monte Ross, 9th season as head coach for Delaware. Got to be happy with what's going on in the first half. It's the Blue Hens on top by 4, 29-25. A lot of 3-pointers in that first half, but it's Delaware on top here at the break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the upcoming schedule for the College of Charleston. Halftime comes your way next. Halftime here in downtown Charleston inside TD Arena. Cougars taking on the Delaware Blue Hens. And we thought we'd take a look at the road to Baltimore here for the College of Charleston. The CAA Championships, of course, up in Baltimore, Maryland. And guys, if we take a look at the schedule, coming up here, a road trip for the Cougars up north to North Carolina to take on Elon, then Northeastern, then back home against UNC Wilmington. But there you see first part of the schedule coming up here, the next 6 or 7 games. The CAA has proven to be a pretty difficult road here this year all of a sudden.
Oh, it is, and Earl Grant says that these final 14 games starting next week, he calls it a marathon. So there are 14 laps left, but unfortunately, the Cougars are on the road 5 out of the next 6 ball games.
Yeah, Elon Northeastern, then home against Wilmington, then Drexel, Towson, Delaware, and then back home finally on February 5th to take on William and Mary. You know, Danny, as we take a look at more of the schedule, Drexel, UNCW, Towson, Elon, James Madison, Hofstra, and then wrapping up the regular season at home against Northeastern. You played the game for a long time. As a player, do you look at the schedule? Do you look forward to the schedule at all as a player?
Absolutely not. One game at a time. If you look forward, sometimes you forget about what you're doing in the moment. You want to stay in the moment, concentrate, knock each game down one by one.
Never sneak a peek at all?
Never.
Even at rivalry games?
Never.
Focused.
That's right.
Focused. So again, that's the road to Baltimore as the CAA will end up in Baltimore, Maryland for the championships. And speaking of the schedule for the College of Charleston, don't forget to join us on Wednesday, January 21st at 7:30 as we will white out Wilmington. For tickets, go to cfcsports.com/tickets. make sure you wear your white as the Seahawks will be in town taking on the Cougars. Again, Wednesday, January 21st at 7:30. Free t-shirts for the first 1,000 students. Halftime is here, downtown Charleston. Cougars and the Blue Hens of Delaware. Stay tuned, more comes your way next. Back inside TD Arena, time to hit the concession stands. Wish we could join them. I'd go for a hot dog bar right now. Delaware with a 4-point lead, 29-25, and we bring you down to the court alongside John Kress. I'm Jeff McCarriger. Thanks for watching tonight. Coach, as we recap this first one, Delaware again a 4-point lead. The Blue Hens did not shoot particularly well, about 40%, right around there, but as you mentioned a couple times, only one turnover. I'm sure Monte Ross is going to be thrilled with that.
Delaware's playing a very measured game. They're moving the ball around well. They're finding the open three-point shooters. Anderson has 11 points and Hayes has 10. They've hit for 5 of those three-point shots. They've rebounded the ball well. They've stopped transition by the Cougars. So for a very young team, Monty Ross has to be very pleased. Can they duplicate it in the next 20 minutes? They're going to have to for their first conference win.
So for Delaware, again, the long-range shots were key for the College of Charleston. Again, they didn't shoot the ball too poorly either, but the problem was that, again, they had one of those spells there towards the end of the first half where they only hit 2 field goals in the final 6:24.
Yeah, Cheeley has 9 and Gilmore has 6 points. But the Cougars, 7 turnovers. Jeff only to the foul line twice, made 1 for 2. That's been a problem all season long. Right now, Anderson with 11. Barry, who we keyed on early, has 5 points. So the Cougars have to, I think, get some more easy baskets, draw from some fouls inside to Baru on the drive, get to the foul line, but also stop the outside shooting by Delaware. Must make Delaware a 2-point shooting team rather than a 3-point shooting team.
When you're right, you mentioned Baru. It seemed like when the Cougars offense was going, it was all going right when it was starting down low through Baru.
They started early getting into Baru, then they had a nice slam off a set play. I think they have to set the tone by going inside to either Baru or sometimes Gilmore. Gilmore's a jumping jack who can also score the ball around the basket.
Let's look at the schedule again for the College of Charleston men's and women's teams coming up. For the men, UNC Wilmington, William & Mary, and Drexel will be coming up. Those are home games. Again, that'll be a whiteout time January 21st for the men against UNC Wilmington, so make sure you wear your white for that game. And for the women, home against Towson, Northeastern, and James Madison. So those are the upcoming home games here at TD Arena. Busy next 4 to 6 weeks coming up here downtown Charleston. And for tickets, make sure you go to cfcsports.com/tickets, or you can call 953-CFC. You want to take a selfie? You and me? You ever taken a selfie? You've probably never taken a selfie.
No, I don't know. That's technology that's beyond my comprehension.
All right, we'll teach you how to do a selfie at the break. Delaware on top of the Cougars, 29-25.
got it, get that. Get that.
College of Charleston shooting the ball well here tonight against Delaware, but it's the Blue Hens leading it by 4 here at the half, 29-25. Coach, as we take a look at some of these first half highlights.
Cougars started off early, going into Baru. Baru kicks it out to Barry. Great inside-outside basketball by the twosome. Baru very strong off the screen underneath for the slam. Cheely, nifty, a stutter move to the basket for his deuce. His Holden to Hayes, penetration and kick, gets the Hens a 3. Kyle Anderson maneuvers on the baseline, fakes out 2 Cougars, spins back, and kisses it in for a deuce. Great ball movement. Holden on the baseline, 2 Hayes, 2 Anderson, another 3. One of the 5 threes for Delaware.
And that brings us to our stats again for the college coach. I mean, obviously you can see they're hit 55% in that first half.
Can't get much better than that. 7 turnovers, so they lack maybe some shots and more possessions. Points of turnovers, Delaware with 10. Those 7 turnovers hurt the Cougars badly. Points in the paint, pretty equal.
For the college, again, seems like they're going to have to go back downtown, or back underneath anyway, to Baru to try and get back into that scoring.
Baru and Gilmore are important, very important early in the second half.
We'll take our final break, back with second half action here from downtown Charleston. Cougars trailing it by 4. College of Charleston shot 55% in that first half, but it's Delaware on top by 4, 29-25. Let's go back down to the court. Danny Johnson standing by with the head coach of the Cougars, Earl Grant.
Coach Grant, how do you feel so far about how your front court's played so far?
I think we did okay. We got the ball down to the jive. We got to keep getting into them. The first 18 possessions, we got it in 10 times. The last 10, we only got it in 1, so we got to keep looking inside.
Despite shooting 55% from the field, what are some of the aspects of the game that you need to do to get back in it?
We need more transition, and we got to get more consecutive stops.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Danny. Thanks, Coach. Delaware with this 4-point lead, and well, Earl Grant just said exactly what we were talking about, Coach. Wants to try and go down low and get that offense going back through Baru again. We were just talking about that.
We talked about possessions inside, and the first 10 possessions, they went there like 8 times. Last part of the game, only 1 time inside. Inside-outside basketball always pays off. And when Baru's in there, the senior, shooting 50% and being able to distribute after he catches, I think you have to go into him or Gilmore right away. I think Coach Grant's going to get that to happen.
Again, as far as first half scoring goes, the Cougars were led in the half by Joe Cheeley, who had 8. Donovan Gilmore, the freshman, with 6. Canyon Berry had 5. Ajay Baru with 4. And Cam Johnson, who made his first starts of his College of Charleston career, freshman at Athens, Georgia, with 2 points. For Delaware, led in scoring by Kyle Anderson and Casman Hayes. Anderson with 3 3-pointers. He had 11. Casman Hayes had 10. So just about set for second half action here from downtown Charleston. The big storyline here, 2 teams who have gotten off to rough starts this season. The College of Charleston trying to snap a 7-game losing streak. And for Delaware, they're trying to get things going as well. The Blue Hens just 1-13 on the year.
They both need a shot of confidence, so it's not desperate times, but with this marathon for both teams, one would love to come out with the win and get a little momentum going, as this is the 4th game for both ball clubs.
As you mentioned too, Coach, we were talking about that at half. For the Cougars, they've got 5 of their next 6 coming up on the road, so this is an important game right here to try and get this one at home.
And they go exactly where Coach Grant said they would go, into Baru, hits Cameron Johnson, a skip pass, cross court, terrific 2-man basketball. Great start for the Cougars.
It's as easy as that, isn't it? Go inside and things open up. Cam Johnson with 5 points now. Holden tries to answer, has his shot blocked by Baru, and a foul underneath that's going to go against Donovan Gilmore. It just does. There's so many options underneath when you go down to Baru, because he really has some good post moves, and if they try to collapse down on him, then that's what happens.
And
leave a guy open on the perimeter.
He passes splendidly from the low post. There was a great skip pass to Johnson. However, this freshman, Corey Holden, is very tough to contain. I think you have to play him more for the drive, Danny, and not play him as tight, because his outside shooting is suspect, but his driving is fantastic.
That's the way I always started as a player. I want you to prove to me that you can make a jump shot first. I'm not going to push up into you and push your strengths. I want to see if you can beat me with your weaknesses.
Holden 71% from the free throw line this season. Spins out, Baru with the rebound.
Baru's been on that left side for most of this half. Now he's on the perimeter on their second possession. Using a little different strategy here to get the ball to Barry.
Cannot finish at the rim. Here comes the freshman Holden. Here's Anderson, who had 3 3-pointers back in the first half. Now Jeffers underneath, one-on-one against Baru. And lays it in. 4-point lead again for the Blue Hens.
That's just too much time for the big to post up and set up a camp down there. They got to run something at him, or Baru has to push him out from away from the basket.
You have to do your work early and, put a body on a guy so Maurice Jeffers doesn't catch the ball that deep in the paint.
Jeffers, big kid, 6'9", 240, really good size. Again, kick out. And again, Cam Johnson open for 3.
And that could be the shot that's good for his confidence. As a freshman, you see that ball go down, you're more apt to take more shots, and they need him to be aggressive.
I think they really need him to be a scorer.
That's right.
And I think that's something that everyone was surprised by. Everyone knew when he came here to the college that he was a lockdown defender, but I think everyone was surprised back in the late summer and early fall during early drills what a great scorer he was.
Yeah, he has great touch. I was known as a shooter, and he has perfect form. He gets off the floor, good follow through, but now he needs to learn how to use his body and be aggressive.
Holden with the step back jumper. His foot was on the line, a 2-pointer. Holden was thinking it was a 3.
Cameron Johnson played at Clark Central High School. We averaged 21 points a game and 8 rebounds. And his mom right now is the women's coach at Clark Central High School. His father was a great football player at Missouri and in the NFL.
Canyon Berry hits a 3. So 3 3-pointers here in the half, and the tie game at 34.
And the same way we opened up the first half is everybody on fire making shots, but you like every game, it's a game of runs. It'll cool down in a minute. Charleston has to adjust to the ebbs and flows of the game.
And defense has to get a little better here in the second half. Going inside pretty easily.
Off the miss. College will slow things down here. 17-10 to play in the game, just underway here in the second half from TD Arena in downtown Charleston. Cheeley gets bumped. You can see that one from up here. Casman Hayes.
And he's the one guy that draws fouls. Coach talked about it in the first half. He's the one guy aggressive off the dribble all the time. He's usually causing 3 or 4 fouls in a half, which puts him in the bonus, but they have to take it to the next level where they're shooting free throws down the stretch.
Chile can finish plays. He can find players when he penetrates. I think he's a next level player. I think he could play in the SEC or the ACC. He has a good out of bounds play to get the ball inside to the big fella.
Draws a foul underneath. And actually, each of these last 2 fouls both have gone against Jeffers. We'll take a look at this last one again.
Nice bounce pass. Fell asleep a little on the weak side. Maurice Jeffers lost sight of Baru, was kind of ball watching, and Baru snuck in there behind the defense, played a little peekaboo, and got the ball for a foul shot.
Baru 56% from the free throw line this season. Makes 1 of 2 here. And Charleston retakes the lead again. They haven't had a lead since midway through the first half. Good start here for the Cougars if you're just tuning in the second half. 3 3-pointers. And that free throw a second ago by Baru. Hayes can't answer. Canterbury with the rebound and now trying to run it back the other way.
There's a little bit of an errant pass that Baru was not expecting, but the offense is still alive.
Confusion on the offense here for Charleston. Shot clock already down to 9. Chile with 7. And fouled on the drive.
Chile has gotten bumped more in this game than I've ever seen a guard get bumped. He's taking the contact, and he's putting team fouls up there against the Delaware Hens.
Well, he's a good size guard, too. 6'3", he lays his shoulder into Hayes. I mean, he's a tough guy. 6'3" at that size, it's hard to keep the momentum from coming at you, so he can draw fouls all night.
Yeah. He's searching for the contact, and it's working.
I wish we could see the stat on fouls that he's drawn. That's got to be, what, at least 4 or 5, right?
I think it's a little more than that. I think he's more around 6, maybe 7, because he got 3 early ones, right?
And again, a whistle underneath. A lot of contact between Baru and King Davis. And it's going to go against, well, they just put it on, they gave it on Jeffers. And that's a big foul for Delaware. That'll be his 4th. We got a 1-point lead for Charleston, 35-34 and immediate timeout. Just over 4 minutes in here in the second half. College of Charleston with a 1-point lead, 35-34. And guys, during the break, they were actually looking at Corey Holden's 2-pointer. Remember, Holden thought it was a 3.
It's a step-back shot, but his left toe is definitely on the 3-point arc. That should relegate that to a deuce rather than 3.
Yeah, and that's a shot you live with, Coach. We talked about how dangerous he is in the middle of the paint. If he's going to make step-back jumpers with a hand in his face, it's almost as a coach and a player, you kind of say, well, you know, you beat me with something you don't do, next play.
Play him more for penetration. I think the fourth foul on Maurice Jeffers plays a big part so early in the second half because he's a load inside and Baru is having trouble guarding him. Now Baru will go against a freshman, Eric Carter, who doesn't have much playing time. Played some in the first half. Again, replaces Jeffers at this point.
So the score there you see is correct, 35-34 Charleston. It was just a two-pointer. Cougars back to work here on offense. Pat Brandon into the game, saw him a little bit back in the first half.
So I think Baru could have looked to score against a freshman Carter that time.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Coach.
Did not need to release the ball outside. Has to look to score.
Well, Pat Brandon probably could have taken that three also. This time Baru will look to score. A little bit too short. And Carter with the rebound.
You're exactly right, Coach. You took the words out of his mouth. When a freshman comes in and you know he hasn't played that much, you take it right to him. You put the pressure on him to make plays.
Teach him some lessons inside early.
That's right.
That was a good shot that Baru got that second time around, just missed.
Terrence O'Donohue with the foul on King Davis.
And I would like to see, instead of a turnaround jumper with a new guy, I like to see drop that shoulder and get physical with him. See how he handles that. Freshmen, young guys that don't play much, they don't deal with that well because they don't deal with it in the game situation that often. See what he can do with the physicality of the game.
I love go to the basket stand.
Oh, yeah.
We had a couple of centers here at the College of Charleston years back. Thad Delaney, the Shack of the old tack, and Jody Lumpkin, who played with you, Danny, who were terrific going to the basket.
Kyle Anderson gives Delaware the lead again with under 15 minutes left to play in the game.
He's quite a sneaky player. Like, he shoots threes, but he finds ways to get around that rim and kind of get these knick-knack twos along the way as well.
13 points now for Anderson. Very little runner, too short.
And just short on that was a good move, and the floater like that is a pretty easy shot. Unfortunately, did not go for Barry.
Anderson now for three.
Great box out by Baru.
Anderson must have the ultraviolet green light. I mean, he lets it go anywhere on the floor.
Baru boxed out Carter and got a little angry that there wasn't an over-the-back foul called by the official.
Baru's calling for it now.
I noticed that. Barry can't hit the three. King Davis with the rebound.
Barry got to have recognition that Baru wants it. He's recognizing he has the matchup. Barry has to see that and dump it down to him.
Oh, put back dunk by King Davis.
That was marvelous offensive rebounding. He saw where the shot was going to miss. He got position early, prepared early, and he slammed it. Got to put a body on King Davis. He's 6'7", 240.
Coach Healy saying something to Baru. No good on the three. Rebound down to Delaware. Pat Brandon almost able to rip it away from Anderson.
And that's what he's in the game to do. Scrap, fight. He's not going to get a lot of minutes, but while he's in there, just try to cause havoc.
And he's guarding Corey Holden, a tremendous explosive player who dribbles through crowds.
And now the kick out. Hayes no good. Carter with the putback and a foul underneath.
Brandon just got caught on the switch down there and kind of lost his footing.
Here is the miss by Delaware and where King Davis came from and how he finished this. Holden misses the shot and he goes up with two hands. A sure shot. Again, Holden kicking here to Hayes and now this was the second replay and the finish by Carter on the miss by Hayes from the corner. So two big baskets for Delaware, both inside.
All hustle plays. Both hustle plays.
Aggressive hustle plays. Cougars have to check out.
5-point lead now for Delaware.
Cougars can't get hesitant. Must play with confidence. Must still run their offense through Baru.
This now ties the largest lead of the game either way.
Cougars are getting a little stagnant on offense the last 4 or 5 possessions. They have to get a little cleaner with their plays.
Yes, and Pierre is in there for Baru, so my mistake as far as going through Baru, but Pierre is still a big guy also inside.
Here we go with Joe Chile picking up another driving foul. He might by himself put him in the penalty.
5 team fouls now against Delaware. 3 have been whistled against CFC.
You like some flow to your offense. You know, you have to play with confidence. You have to move the ball. You can't play hesitation basketball. I think the Cougars now have to really attack with their half-court offense.
Kenya gets help from Glenn Pierre, who rolled to the basket, was actually open. They just didn't get it to him.
And that's sometimes to play Charleston's mission, is that guy rolling to the basket.
Chile now has it knocked away. Pinkert comes up with it for the Blue Hens. Anderson left open for 3 and banks it in as Delaware takes an 8-point lead.
This is a tough period for the Cougars. They've got to stop the momentum somehow, some way, because they're putting themselves in a bad position here early in the second half.
They don't get anything here, they're going to, I'm sure Coach Grant's going to call timeout next possession.
Cam Johnson, the freshman from Athens, trying to make something happen. Canyon underneath, can't get it to fall. Here comes Delaware with numbers, 3 on 2, back the other way. Corbett no good. Donovan Gilmore able to grab it, give it to Joe Chile to reset here for Charleston.
Coach got to find something that has some fluidity to it, something that has some rhythm, something with a good shot right here. They can't afford to have bad possessions at this point in the game.
Delaware on a 9-0 run. Meanwhile, the Cougars just 0 for their last 6, but Canyon Berry draws the foul, and it'll be Charleston basketball when we come back. 11:15 left to play. Kyle Anderson off the glass, and it's an 8-point lead for Delaware. Delaware on a 9-0 run over the last 3 minutes and 50 seconds, and now on top by 8, 43-35. Don't forget, anytime the Cougars win this season, you win with Papa John's. Anytime the Cougars win, home or away, log on to papajohns.com and get 50% off any internet purchase using the promo code CougarsWin. Again, any home win or away win this season by the Cougars, go online, take 50% off your internet purchase using the promo code CougarsWin, and only at papajohns.com. Inside TD Arena, Monte Ross, head coach for the Blue Hens. His team on a 9-0 run. Meanwhile, Coach Kress, for the Cougars, they've gone cold again. We've seen these scoring droughts of 6, 7, 8 minutes. Right now, they've not scored in the last 6 minutes.
You know, one of the problems might be that the Cougars score by committee with Barry with 11, Chile with 10, and Stitt 9, and Baru and Gilmore with 7. There's really no go-to guy so far this season. Last year, Willis Hall, who's playing in Portugal, was the go-to guy. Had big games against Davidson, etc. And we haven't had really the player that kind of you go to when it gets a little tough.
And the leader. He not only was the best offensive player, but he was the leader. You've seen the team rally around. They're still trying to find that with this Cougar team.
Canyon Berry able to rattle one in. So that snaps an 0 for 6 stretch here by Charleston. Just saw a second ago that stat, if you were looking on the screen there down by the score, where it showed the Cougars getting off to that 3 for 4 start. They went 0 for the last 6. 3 3-pointers right away. 6-point lead for Delaware, 10.5 to play in the game. Both teams looking for their first conference win of the year. And traveling on Cameron Johnson.
That's a play that I like to see him be aggressive. Sometimes I feel like he gets to the paint and tries to look for other people. Sometimes you got to be a little selfish, coach. Sometimes you got to look to make the play. Basketball has plays and designs, but outside of that, individual ability sometimes is the right thing to do.
The action by the Cougars in the last 2 possessions were curl action. Barry came off a screen and curled and made the shot. Cameron came off the curl and hesitated on his shot or his drive. Good plays by the Cougars, but Johnson has to learn from those type of mental mistakes.
Pinkard for 3. Devon Pinkard off the bench. He has 16 threes this season, so he can knock those in. The sophomore makes it a 9-point lead now for Delaware, their largest lead of the night.
He had 3 for 4 Thursday against Wilmington. He has to be played like Kyle Anderson. Make them 2-point shooters. Play them real close.
Glenn Pierre one-on-one against Pinkard. Backs him in. Nice pass out to Chile. Just missed a good pass though. Anderson a little hesitation on the baseline, tries to float over the top of Glenn Pierre. Offensive rebound by Delaware. Anderson no good. Pinkard trying to rip it down, and it'll be Charleston basketball.
Charleston's going to get this ball right now, but they're being out-hustled and outplayed. And that's one thing I'm sure Coach Grant's staff cannot live with. You can't get beat by hustle plays.
They're getting good looks, and they're getting the second shots here in the second half. There's a real hustle play by Pinkard. Cougars fortunate.
Coach Kress, let me ask you this. Would you run any plays for Donovan Gilmore? He's 3 for 3 from the field. I mean, they really haven't gone to him at all here in the second half.
Gilmore is a high percentage shooter. He hits for 58% from the floor. He's a jumping jack. He's won some games inside. So why not? There's a nice play by Baru, though. He took his time. He was patient in the low post. Hit a nice jump hook. Again, not fading away, Danny.
Right.
Going to the basket with his hook.
Dropping that shoulder, using his physicality, getting an easier shot. That's what you want to see from him.
I think that middle of the lane has been open for the Cougars.
Yeah, they're playing him one-on-one. One-on-one on the block. When you get that, you get as close as you can. You back him down.
They've not double-teamed Baru or even Pierre once. There's a nice play in the lane. Just takes his time, and he's a big guy. They're not going to block that shot.
Look at all the space.
Great finish.
And that's all day right there.
They're looking inside to Gilmore this time, but Delaware defends that particular offensive play.
Coming up on 8 minutes left in the game.